All right, let's scoot ahead. We've shouted out all of our 2Cs on the way out of the Champions League, and I don't think this team from Gothenburg deserves any less. Tremendous run through the group stage against harsh competition. Let's rewind all the way back to qualifying, where Häcken had to beat the team currently leading the Dutch league, FC Twente, in a home and home. Check this out. Häcken draws Twente at home and then travels to the Netherlands and beats Twente 2-1 away to make the group stage. Just one loss in 6 group stage matches for this Häcken side, and that came at Stamford Bridge. Tough place to win. 2 wins over Real Madrid. Let that sink in. Häcken beat Real Madrid twice. A win and a draw against a super tough Paris FC team, and a draw against Chelsea in Sweden. That is a no bullshit run right there. Ultimately, I think this Häcken side kind of ran out of gas and was definitely outgunned by a PSG side that outshot BK Häcken over the 2 legs, 36-15. 17-7 in terms of shots on target, and PSG advances 5-1 on aggregate. Props to Häcken, though, for being super game till the very end. PSG, though, they haven't lost since November. It's been 4+ months since they were beaten 1-0 at Bayern in the Group C, Group of Life, group stage. 6 wins in a row now for PSG in all competitions. Could have been 7, but you might remember they had that super unlucky draw at Lyon when De Almeida knocks in an own goal very, very, very late in that one. Tremendous chance coming up, though, for some PSG redemption when these two sides meet again. Oh, in the Champions League semifinals. Let's fucking go. Oh, that was a lot. How do we even begin to unpack what's coming up here?
Before we get to the big stakes in the semifinal, let me echo the sentiment on Häcken. The umlaut queens, as I may start to call them, hold the A button and then press number 4. That's how you get the umlaut on the keyboard when you're tweeting or talking about this squad. Respect the name, respect the culture, include the umlaut. I want to say the names of these 5 players one more time. Katarina Kosola, Josephine Riebrink, Ivy Luke, Elma Juntala Nelhag, and Jennifer Falk. What a fantastic back 4 and keeper combination. Mm-hmm. This team went to London and got a 0-0 draw out of Chelsea Football Club at Stamford Bridge when Sam Kerr was in the side. Shout to them. I plan on seeing them again and again in this tournament as we continue to watch over the years. As for PSG, they're 7 points back of Lyon and D1F. But I want to throw this at you. PSG is good enough to finish second in any league in the world. And I don't think it's a stretch to say they would be super live to win pretty much any league in the world, except maybe the league they're in and Liga F. And even then, I wouldn't count them out. But I think PSG has vaulted themselves. If you just look at the sheer talent from goalkeeper to number 9, I think this is one of the absolute best teams in the world.
Yeah, I mean, watching this PSG side and the form that they're in now, I feel like if they could start this D1F season again today, I feel like it'd be totally different. Obviously, we talked about like that Lyon match at Lyon was so huge because PSG threw the kitchen sink, the refrigerator, the washing machine. They threw everything at that match. And to have a win kind of plucked away at the very end, just the most unfortunate of bounces, I kind of feel like that's going to supercharge this PSG side even more into the semifinal matchup. For sure. The way they're playing now, absolutely they're good enough to be top 2 in any league in the world.
Yeah.
I did want to mention one other quick thing. Someone in our comment section chimed in about getting a little shook, seeing how easily Spain beat France in the Nations League final. And obviously, I know Tabitha Chawinga is from Malawi, but she's such a huge piece of the PSG offense. You kind of think of her as a French player. I kind of weirdly feel like if she was on that France Nations League team, I don't know. That would be a little different.
I think so.
I love Katoto, but she's not the straight up Tyreek Hill level burner that Chawinga is. Katoto obviously deadly from within range, which we saw in this one. She notched PSG's 3rd goal, slamming the door on Häcken completely shut. But yeah, I think Chawinga is kind of, we've marveled at her through the entire group of life, right? But she's now, I think, elevated herself to probably PSG's most important player. Like, she's an absolute game breaker, and it's not just in the open field. Like, she's just like, oh, little crevice, and I've got it. And it always feels like Chawinga has a good game, and Baltimore as well. Or Chawinga has a good game, and Corbin Albert, or Marie Antoinette Katoto, or Karshawi. Like, but it's Chawinga's so fucking steady that like you just kind of wonder what's that going to look like. And I did make a mental note Wendy Renard is such a linchpin in this semifinal matchup because I'm not sure whose spot she's going to get, but safe to say Vanessa Gilles, that spot in Lyon's defense, a little bit vulnerable, a little bit shaky. If I'm game planning, I think it's a very different type of approach. So I don't know, man. Like the wind could be blowing Paris's way in the semifinal matchup. But again, we just talked Lyon pretty much in depth, and they look so good as well. This one's going to be pay-per-view for sure.
100%. And Renard was on the bench in the last match, so she was available to play. I don't know what kind of signal that was, if that was just a look they just wanted to give. But, I mean, I think from most managers' perspective, I'm not putting you on the bench unless I think you can give me at least 10 minutes. So if that's where Renard is in her recovery, then I think that's very exciting for Lyon. Let me posit this to you. We're talking about Chewinga. Chewinga often plays on the attacking left. I would expect her to do the same. That would mean that she'll be going up against Lyon's right back, who is Ellie Carpenter. So I want to propose this. Before the match, we have a 40-yard dash between Chewinga and Carpenter, and that determines who gets to kick off. And then, post-match, we should do a 100-yard dash between Chewinga and Carpenter, and the winner, their team gets an extra 0.5 goal added to the aggregate score. Because you're talking about pay-per-view, Chewinga versus Carpenter in a track meet. Let's go.
Incredible. That's incredible. I mean, just full XFL shit.
Say it. Let's do this.
Like, I love it. Man, that one's a real mind bender. Carpenter, Chewinga. That's got to be a push for me. I know I'm taking the total coward's way out, but I think I kind of feel like it depends on, I mean, if we're talking about a straight track, yeah, I think it's a push. If we're talking about on the field, I think it kind of depends on it's going to be one of those where a couple spots, Chewinga will get her, in a couple spots, Carpenter will kind of catch up and cut something off. Really kind of depends on the angles once we're on the pitch. But incredible mind bender. I hadn't even considered that, and that is just a little icing on the cake.
This could be some run and gun out there, Bubba. But let me be serious here. I think you're spot on with the PSG attack versus Lyon's defense. I think that's probably the main event. If we go directly on the undercard, maybe it's a co-main event. I'm very interested to see PSG's midfield versus Lyon's midfield. So in Lyon, you have Lindsay Horan, Daniela Van de Donk, Sarah de Brits, maybe Egarola, maybe Majri, depending on how spicy Sonia Bonpastor is feeling that day, going against PSG's midfield. Gaoro, Albert, maybe Vangsgaard, maybe Jackie Grunen. Manager Jocelyn Precheur has even put Karshawi in the midfield. When was one of the times I noticed that? Karshawi was in the defensive midfield against Lyon in that 1-1 draw in league play that you mentioned earlier. So maybe that's a look that we get to see. In that match, too, and you talk about what a banger that was. It still feel bad for De Almeida to have that kind of heartbreaker at the end. PSG had 55% possession in that match against Lyon. But at the same time, Lyon won the XG battle 1.2 to 0.8. So not a huge difference, but nearly half a goal difference in XG. So come on, man. I mean, I know I get my expectations up for these matches, for these kind of ties. I don't see it going any other way than this being a certified banger.
1000% cosign. And I think there's also the added little spiciness of the, domestic rivalry and the tough result, like you mentioned, 7 matches ago for PSG, where they're just like, oh my God, I wouldn't be surprised to see them really come out and explode.
Yeah.
And then I think either of these teams could fight back from, I want to say kind of any deficit. 3 might be tough, but definitely 2 is 100% workable. But I think we're going to see the best from these two sides, the best lineups. We're going to see the best execution. This is going to be straight fireworks. The other semifinal, I think a lot of the same.
Oh, yeah.
Like Emma Hayes looking for her Champions League. Hidalgo's looking to kind of close his Barcelona chapter with another win with arguably the best roster on the planet right now. Yeah. And then I think these two French sides, just sharpening each other up. Coming up, we're going to talk the other 3 UEFA Women's Champions League quarterfinals matchups, Lyon Benfica, Chelsea Ajax, Barcelona Braun. We're also going to continue to share some more thoughts on Champions League semifinals, which will be coming up soon here in a few weeks. You're not going to want to miss those. So like if you liked, and subscribe already if you enjoyed talking a little Champions League football with your boys.
Let me give you one more free prediction on the way out. I don't know. I might be going far out on a limb on this one. Maybe we see the occasional De Almeida or Karshawi chicken wing in this upcoming match. I don't know. Oh, maybe I'm going crazy that those two players wouldn't be overly physical in an important match like this. So I'll keep an eye out for it. Guard those ribs, everybody. Make sure you don't catch a Karshawi chicken wing. That shit will knock you out. And we will see you in the semifinal.